I personally think that all individuals have some natural ability.
You have all the talent you need. You just need to go out there and do it. You just need to make it happen.
Just simply the act of being consistent in that craft or whatever it is that you want to pursue, you just become better and better.
There's definitely no reason why anybody should stop themselves from starting a career in art if they have that nagging desire to do it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be in your part of the world. This is the Emerging Artist Podcast, and I am Scott Markowitz with Reinvention Studio Lab, and I'm here with Shiree Nichole Ingram with an H.
Yes, we have to constantly remind people to add the H to Nichole.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing really good, and I'm very grateful to have you here. And we wanted to talk today about natural ability. Do you need to have natural ability to be a good artist?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question. I personally think that all individuals have some natural ability or creativity. And I think it just depends on whether or not they, out of circumstance or out of desire, just haven't necessarily tapped into it. Personally, don't think that you have to have creative ability in order to be successful as an artist. What do you think?
I 100% agree with that. The more important skill might be marketing.
You know, that's interesting that you say that, because I think about different artists. Like I, for instance, love Jimmy Buffett, but I've had clients of mine, in particular, a husband and wife, and the husband was a total parrot head, went to all the concerts, and his wife was a music teacher, and she did not like Jimmy Buffett, but she supported him and would always go. And her whole thing is she felt that he was not a great singer, and that the only people that enjoyed his music were people that were drinking. But on the flip side of that, she said why he was so successful is because he was a smart businessman and he knew how to market himself.
Exactly.
And so I do like his music, though. And I've always thought it was fun and relaxing and laid back. But I do think there are other people in the entertainment industry, too, that have just done really well at marketing themselves that I don't necessarily consider great actors.
I mean, look at the whole phenomenon of boy bands. You know, some marketing genius auditions young men based solely on his ability to market them and not necessarily like on their ability to sing.
Yes. Dance and good looks.
Yeah, it has less to do with the artistry, more to do with the marketability. And the real sweet spot is when you can find a place where you are doing things to the best of your natural ability.
Mm-hmm.
You're growing as an artist. You're getting better and better and better. But at the same time, you're able to go out there and support yourself through your efforts to market your business, to network with people in your community. So let's talk about that. You know, what's the right balance between natural ability, learnability, maybe teachability? Maybe that's a thing?
Mm-hmm.
And marketability.
I think a lot begins with if you have the desire to want to do something. And I always think about like somebody that wants to play the piano, for instance. They really have a strong desire to play the piano, and they really try hard, and they take lessons and do a pretty good job. But the biggest thing is that they're enjoying it. And then you take somebody else who just has this natural ability and can hear music. I had my step-grandfather. He could never read music, and I think he married my grandma when they were in their late 60s or early 70s. And he played old ragtime and always played by ear. Just amazing, just natural ability where he just knew. So I do think there are different careers in life where you really have that desire, you have that interest, you want to do it, and you can make it a success. I think it might be a little bit more, you might encounter more challenges than somebody who has just that natural ability to do it. But even people with natural ability need to continually work on their craft and become better and better at it. And that's why artists, like if you're going to be a sketcher, painter, it's encouraged that you should really be doing something daily. And just simply by just doing it, you become better, you're more detail oriented, just more proficient, your artwork looks better. And so just simply the act of being consistent in that craft or whatever it is that you want to pursue, you just become better and better. And so Jimmy Buffett couldn't just help but just get better with his voice as time went on.
Yeah. So what you hit on there, I think, is so key to this entire concept, right? The most important thing is not your skill, but it's your desire to do it.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I think you'll be successful at it.
Yeah. And I have my own personal take on that because I think that there's a direct correlation between your desire to do something and the latent ability to do it. It may take some development on your part. It might take some practice, might take a lot of practice, but it's in there. Like that ability is in there. I don't think the desire to do something bubbles up in your consciousness unless your subconscious recognizes that it's achievable.
Well, that could be.
I might be wrong, but that I do believe that if you keep getting the nagging desire or the nagging idea to do something, I think that's a clue that you can do it.
Yeah, not to ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely no reason why anybody should stop themselves from starting a career in art if they have that nagging desire to do it. Because there's going to be people in your sphere that are going to tell you, don't do it.
Especially in the arts. Yeah, because a lot of people don't consider those that aren't necessarily in the art community or artists themselves are not familiar with the art community. There is this underlying belief that art is a hobby. It is not a profession. You might not always get the best support from other people encouraging you to pursue a art career.
In fact, that reminds me of the moment in time where I told my parents that I was changing majors in college. I went into college as a business major with the idea that I was going to start a gym. That was my goal out of high school. I was going to start a health club.
Okay.
Right. At some point, I believe it was like the second or third day of my statistics class in college that I came to the stark realization that business was not for me.
Not long into it.
A business degree was not in my future. So I decided, because like I was taking some art classes my freshman year in college that I really enjoyed. And as a hobbyist, I was already making films. I was already creating films just for fun. And I was like, you know what? There's a very vibrant communications department on campus here. There is a path for me. I changed my major from business to broadcasting with an emphasis in broadcast communication. And I waited until the first break. I think it was maybe Thanksgiving or something. I told my parents that I was going to switch majors. And I remember telling them, and the stoic look over the faces of both my parents.
I know that look.
Right?
Yeah.
And there was like a long pause after I said, I'm changing my major and I want to go into broadcasting. But it was probably about 30 seconds where they just stared at me. And then finally, my mother slapped my father in the shoulder and said, Dave, tell him. And I was like, tell him what? Like, what? And, you know, my father was very reluctant, but he did say, I don't know that there's a path to success that way. My father was reluctant to say that because he had given up his desire to be an artist.
Oh.
My father was a very good painter. He was drafted into the army to fight in World War II. But before that, he wanted to be an artist, and he was very good. He did some beautiful landscapes, and he was very fond of painting dogs. He had some beautiful portraitures of dogs.
Oh, cool.
And he really enjoyed that. But his father told him, no, you're going to help with the family business.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should, you know, try to stick with the business plan, with the business degree. eventually they came around and supported me, but it took them a long time. So I do get that. To get back to the topic though, what do you do when the people around you tell you you're not that great of an artist yet?
I think working on your craft then. You're just going to get better and better the more that you do. Say if you want to draw, you love drawing and that, you really need to do something every day and maybe making that a specific routine, whether you're a morning person getting up and even taking 10, 15 minutes and sketching in your own sketchbook just to keep that consistency every day, working on that.
Yeah.
I think to building your confidence and being true to that inner gut feeling that you have when you know something is going to work. All of us kind of have that innate feeling within us that we know something is going to work. We just need to stick with it, even if others can't understand your vision. And then not to be irritated with those that don't understand your vision either. I think is some of the whole process of it, because they're so unfamiliar with what you're doing, and maybe they have no interest in art yourself, and they aren't interested in even investigating to see. So that's where I think also developing friendships and connections with people that can encourage you and boost you up to encourage you on the path that you want to go.
Yes, exactly. I think it's very important to remember they're not trying to hurt you when they say those things that you perceive as discouraging. They're trying to protect you and help you.
Right.
Right. But they just don't have that perspective to understand. Like, they're not inside your head. They don't experience that nagging desire that you experience. And so they just have the data that they're going by. And there's the common perception within our society that the artist is starving. Right.
I was listening to a podcast a couple of days ago. The artist was very good, and he was talking about the business of art and this whole starving artist philosophy that we've always heard. Yeah. In his perspective, he called it the romanticized loser.
Oh, I like that.
That actually you don't have to be the starving artist, but it takes determination. You've got to stick with it. You got to stick with your craft. You've got to do all these other avenues to help build your business if that's what you choose to do, if you choose to make it a career.
Yes, totally. There's also an aspect of this whole thing. You don't necessarily have to be super talented and have the most amazing natural ability, but you do have to have that desire, like we just discussed. And you have to be able to market your own work, because you do have to make a living at it. So if you want to satisfy that desire to do the work, you're going to have to figure out a way to market yourself and sell it. So, there's two prongs to that skill that you want to develop. You want to continue developing your artistic skill and make your work better, but you also want to continue developing your ability to market yourself, or to develop a relationship with somebody who can help you with the marketing. What do you think about that? I mean, that's another natural ability that you may or may not have to market yourself. I think, well, again, who you associate with can play a big part in that. And maybe that's where social media comes in, because you have such a huge platform of people that you can access, and you can get to know people fairly well, at least in a business sense, by their content on social media and reach out. And my experience has been a lot of artists are very supportive of one another and want to see each other succeed and are good about sharing what has worked for them. And those that don't want to share, just that's fine. But there's plenty of artists out there that are very supportive. And I really see that lately as a trend. Lately acquired a lot of artists actually from India, which has been really interesting. Some of the direct messages I get, just very interesting, and just a lot of incredible art coming from India. And I'm loving seeing their content and supporting. And then there's artists from Switzerland that I'm sharing her content. And she's one who
actually originally reached out to me and wanted to know if we could help share each other's stories and reels. And I thought that was just so wonderful. So yeah, we're getting to know people from all over the world. We didn't used to have that kind of access to a global market like we have now, where our artwork can be seen all over the world. So it just really changes a lot.
Yeah, you can foster relationships that help support you. It gives you a little bit of extra boost with your confidence when you get the support from other people. And then you're able to parlay that into increasing your ability as an artist, as a craftsperson. Technology is there. If you have a question about how to do a particular task, there's almost always a solution that you can find online somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you want to become better at marketing, there's no shortage of material online to learn about marketing.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the answer is you don't need to have natural ability.
It's about desire, tapping into it.
Yeah, and the ability will come.
I think so.
That's it. All right, guys. So if you came to us feeling discouraged, you have all the talent you need. Just go out there and do it. You just need to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think creativity is in all of us.
Oh, I love that you say that, Shiree. Yes, I think that everybody is born into this world with an infinite supply of creativity. Mm-hmm. It's just that somewhere along the line, some people lose it.
Or not aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The circumstances in life may be a little bit too busy, or young parents raising kids on the go all the time. And so those moments of creativity maybe come later in life when things are a little bit more quiet.
You can always go back and tap into it.
What a good friend says to me, just go paint something. Don't worry about this other stuff.
Yeah. Thank you, Shiree. Where can people find you if they want to learn more about creating their own art business?
Go to ShireeNichole.com. It's ShireeNichole.com.
Don't forget the H.
That's right.
And if you'd like to learn more about how to manage your art mind, you can come visit the things happening at reinventionstudiolab.com and contact me. Reinvent Studio on Instagram is a great place to hook up. And yeah, we'll see you next time. We just encourage you to use the natural ability that you do have right now and just improve upon it. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time. Rock on.
All right. Go create something beautiful.
Yeah, go paint something.